Hi, y'all. This is part 2 of my Getting Ready for Fall Season series. And I'm talking right now about tools, pruners, gloves, the kinds of things that I know I have to do a little upgrading and repair on every single season. So when we're talking about pruners, I mean, every gardener's got to have pruners. And if you're anything like me, you got to have a lot of pruners. I typically will spend no more than about 25 bucks on a pair of pruners. And those will typically be my go-to pair that I always have with me when I'm walking around in the garden. Unfortunately, I've got kids, and 12, 13, and 14-year-olds, when you say, hey, come and help out in the garden, or if they volunteer to help in the garden, it's usually because I'm trimming things and they like to cut things up, and they'll grab a pair of pruners and they'll go, and my pruners go missing. They get left out in the garden. They get left in my cleaning solution. They just don't make it. So, oh my gosh, my neighbor's coming. I gotta pause for a minute. Okay, I'm back. I get distracted when I see my neighbors walking their dogs, and this one has 2 little Bichons, and they dye their ears pink. Cutest little things, and one of them's got like this bright magenta ear right now. Gorgeous. Okay, sidetracked. This is part of the problem with my pruners. I get sidetracked easily. I'm out in the yard, I'm working, I'll have a goal, I'll say, okay, I'm gonna prune. I start pruning, and I'll look up and I'll see some weeds, and I'll stop and I'll go and pull the weeds, and I'll forget the fact that I was pruning. And then I'll look up and I'll see something else, and I'll say, oh, I need to prune this, or I need to do something here with this. I will forget that I had pruners. So I'll get up and I'll go and hunt for another pair of pruners, grab another one, bring them out. By the time I'm done, I have 4 or 5 pairs of pruners sitting out in the yard. And of course, I'm never going to remember where they all were. They get left out in the sprinklers. They get left out in the rain. They are buried in weeds when I'm making piles. And when I pick up the weeds, I don't see them, and I just leave them out there. So they end up looking like this, and like this, and like this. They get all sticky and gummy, and you can hear them grinding, and they still cut. They don't make the cleanest cuts. And I'm just not going to take the time to send my pruners out for sharpening and cleaning and all of that. I will make a bucket of bleach water and get a brush and brush off the sap and dirt and things like this that I'll need to do to that one. You can see all that caked up inside there. This set of pruners got through the season, and I haven't gotten around to cleaning them this summer, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is a Fiskars pruner. Feels great in your hands. It still springs nicely. But then I have this Fiskars that gets stuck, and you have to flip it back. And that's because the screws need to be taken out and lubricated. We need to get some sap and things like that out of there. But if your pruners are doing this, this is very annoying to be working with. I do still use them, and I tend to use them with a finger between. So I'll squeeze and I'll push it back out with my finger, but that tires your hand. This is a pair that my mom gave me. I don't know, she picks up things from Aldi and anywhere else that she sees something. I love these little cushions that are on here. They were meant to take them off, but I liked the feel of them so much for this pair that I just left them on there, and I just use them. And this pair is pretty good. The little clip doesn't stay, so I can never really lock them in place because it just lets go, but I still use them. Pruners are something that I know I pick up every single year. So this year I in my process of ordering for my seed starting, I flipped through Amazon and I said, you know what, let me see what they've got as far as pruners. So I ordered several pairs of the Boogie, I guess it's an Italian company, garden shears and scissors sets. So I got this set. I got this set. I got 2 of these. And then I got this one. This one looks like it may be the same one that's in this double pack set, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to open these up now and take a look at them. Oh, they're lubricated. Got some oil on them. Got a pretty nice spring on them. They're very, very easy to squeeze. This takes very little pressure. Like I can literally use one finger to depress this. So I'm happy about that. And the safety that's on it is here. Well, that didn't work. So it's good. So this feels pretty good. I think this will be a good one. It does open up a little bit wide for my hand, but once I've got it, I think I'll be fine. Very comfortable to squeeze. So I'm going to take a look at these ones that come in the set. Let's see what's different. So these are very similar. These are a little bit lighter weight than this one is. This is probably the upgrade for these. The handle is much heavier, seems much sturdier, and the lock is different. So the lock on this one is on the front of the pruner. The lock on this one is on the side. So it's got like a little thumb lock. These do not have any lubricant on them. Much smaller in my hand. I do like the feel of these. My kids are probably going to want to use these more than anything because they're smaller. Very light. They seem... This one takes a little bit more force, but it's still one hand. So the spring on this one is a little bit tougher than the spring that is on this one. This one's a little bit better. Better quality, I think. This one even has the company stamp on it. You can see it. This one they decided, yeah, this is the cheapo set. We're not going to put any stamps on here. This is just grab and go kind of pruners. So I got this 2-pack. And then I got this one. It's also a 2-pack, but it's got the regular pruner and then it's got the snips, which I was long overdue for a new pair of snips. My snips literally exploded in my hand last year as I was taking some cuttings. The spring flew off in some direction. I never found the spring, and the safety clamp was bent in half. I don't know what happened. The thing just exploded in my hand, so I just gave up on it and went to using my pruners to do any kind of cuttings. So another pair of these. So I'll have 3 pairs of these guys as backups. And then I have the snips, which also have the thumb safety. And these are pretty good. This is a good pair of snips. It's a nice long blade, really like scissors. So I can't really complain about that. Again, no lubricant on these, but that's okay because I've got a can of lubricant I can spray on these guys. Now, these next 2 seem to be the upgrade to these. And I got 2 different pairs. If you notice, these come with a replacement spring. And they come with a colored handle. These are pretty heavy. Spring. Oh, these feel nice. It's got kind of some kind of texture on here to keep them from slipping out of your hands. This is a nice, almost like a sandblasted metal type feel. Now, the safety on this one is on the top. They are stamped with the company name. Oh, wow. You don't even have to. Because of the placement of this, I won't be able to do this with one hand. I'll have to use my other hand to lock it. But you don't even have to use your finger to unlock it. You just squeeze down on it. And these feel awesome. This is definitely a higher quality, more ergonomic, less pressure required to depress this thing. I mean, you can really get in there and do a lot of pruning with this without tiring out your hands. I don't really worry about tiring my hands. This is why I don't mind buying the cheap sets. You know, if you're a person that's totally focused and you can prune for hours and hours and hours, you probably want to invest in an expensive, better quality set of pruners, just so that you don't fatigue your hands. You don't end up with carpal tunnel syndrome and all kinds of weird things like that. I don't have that kind of focus. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go out in the garden. I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to do 15 different things. Might get part of what I set out to do done in my process. This is really cool. I love that this thing literally pops open with just a little squeeze. Pull it out of your pocket and go. Now it does have a little bit of lubricant on it. Not as much as the other pair does, but it's not lacking. It's not lacking in anything. I think I'm going to really like these. I'm going to forbid my kids to use these, I think. And then the other pair, this is just a different color. Y'all have to pardon my table. This is my craft table, and I kind of use it for any and everything. Now this pair doesn't have the sandblasted feel to it. It's a little bit slicker, but still same thing. Well, maybe. Uh-oh. Yeah. I just got to have it at the right angle. Trying to hold it up for the camera doesn't really work. I can't grip this like that. So, yeah. Holding it up for the camera is the difficult thing. But it does still snap open when you depress it. So, and you'll see some lubricant there. They do lubricate it well. So I think these are going to be good for my garden season this year. I'll be able to leave a pair in the greenhouse. I'll be able to leave a couple pairs on the lanai. I can probably leave some in my deck box out by the umbrella so that wherever I am, I know I got some pruners close by. So for 6 new pairs of pruners plus my old ones, I've got a couple more hiding around the yard and in the greenhouse. I'm going to pull those guys out and give them a good soak and cleaning so that they're ready to go. But I think I'm good to go here. I may not have to buy a new set of pruners next gardening season if these guys hold up well. I think these are going to be great. Let's see if I can keep them from rusting. Next on my list of must-have replacement items for the year are gloves. So the next thing I need to talk about is gloves. I replace my gloves a couple times during the year because we've got sandy soil, rocky soil. I punch holes in them, and I'll go out and I'll buy myself another pair. I just bought a pair about 4 or 5 months ago to get me through the second half of the gardening season. And they already are pretty beat up. This is the replacement pair. This pair is just maybe half a year old, if that. And I'm trying to think, when did I do it? They're not that old. I got these the week before Mother's Day. So I went over to do some planting at my mom's house, and I put my hands in my gloves, and one of my fingers came out through the tip of the finger. And I said, nope, not doing this. Let me go and grab another pair of gloves. These I buy from Home Depot. These are the Digz brand, and they discontinued the pair of gloves that I had been using previously. I was absolutely in love with those gloves. If I can find the name of them, I'll show them to you. But I think the company may have gone out of business or something. And they're now carrying Digz. And these guys work very well. I've got roses. I've got asparagus fern. I've got several plants that are very thorny and very thick, and I have to get into the middle of them to pull weeds out of them. And I don't like getting stabbed. I stabbed myself with a thorn last week, and it's just finally healing and no longer paining me. But these guys are tough enough to handle roses and very thorny plants. So I'm going to stick to these for a little bit. I think I'm going to probably do a giveaway of a pair of these because they're very affordable. Video's not sponsored in any way. I just really like these gloves. They're a good replacement. Now, they do get a little bit hot. They're like a canvas, and then they've got some leather in a couple places. But what I really, really like is that I can still control my phone with these gloves on. I can change my music. I can answer a phone call. I can do everything on the touchscreen with these gloves. Let's see if I can get my hand into them because they are dirty. They need to be washed. And I should probably do that sometime soon. And I'll show you how far up they come. And they fit nicely. I have pretty long fingers, and gloves don't really fit my hands well in a lady's glove. So they stop here. But the base of my finger is here. So they don't really get my entire finger into the spot. And it stops about here on my wrist. So I'm okay with that. It doesn't stop me from being able to use them. Some ladies' gloves, the fingers are just so short that I can't do anything. My fingers won't even properly move. But these are good. And they come up halfway up my forearm, so not bad. And they've got a little Velcro strap on them. So these are my main gloves. Kind of all-purpose glove. I'll even stick my hands into water with these things on, which is why they're so cruddy. I told you, I'm not the neatest gardener. So what I like to also pick up are what I call disposable gloves. They're not disposable. We reuse them. I promise we don't throw them away after one use. But Home Depot also sells these in 3-packs. They're also Digz brand. And I've been using these. I pick up 2 or 3 packs of these every season because, like I said, when my husband comes out, my kids come out, and I say, hey, you need gloves for this job, they can grab a pair of these and throw them on. My husband also has a good pair of leather gloves that he likes to use because these are a little tight for him, but he does still use them from time to time. But these have the little water resistance rubber palms, and the whole palm is rubber, and then the front part of the fingers about halfway up, maybe a little bit more than halfway up the fingers. So if you're working in mud or having to stick your hands down into water, maybe you're fixing the irrigation or something and you got to get down into a muddy spot, these work out pretty good. You got to have lots of gloves. So with these 3-packs, like I said, I pick up 2 or 3 packs of these just to keep around, and as they start getting worn and they tear, or somebody punches a hole through the fingers because they were reaching down trying to grab a rock and pull it out of the hole or something like that, you know, something affordable just to be able to get down and dirty. See, they get snagged. You get snags in them and they just hold up. But the biggest thing is, notice I have 1 full pair of gloves. Where are the other 2 for these? Probably out with my pruners. This is why we keep a lot of these on hand. So if you're anything like me, pick up a few different things. My main tools I don't really replace. I will check on those guys. Sometimes I've got to replace a handle because we do crack the handles on our shovels and things like that. But those are just kind of tried and true. I'm in the market right now looking for a new pair of loppers, and I'm kind of eyeing a pair that has a retractable handle so that we can be able to reach a little bit higher. That one is on Amazon. I'm going to show you guys that one also. Don't buy them all before I get one. I'm just kind of waiting to pull the trigger to make sure there's not something else that I like. But I'm going to show you that one. It's pretty cool. It's got good reviews. I think I'm going to try that one out. I think it's about 40 or 50 bucks. Maybe it's 60. I don't know. Don't quote me. Tools. My main thing is pruners. I'm going to use those more than anything for pretty much every task in the garden. If I'm digging something out, I grab my pruners before I get a lopper, just to cut those roots that may be holding something into the ground. Don't be like me. Don't use your pruners for very, very thick branches. I do that too. Again, why I don't spend a lot of money on pruners. I'm not going to treat them right. I don't know. I think that's it. I don't really have a whole lot more that I do to get ready with tools. Stay tuned for the next video and you guys will see what I'm stocking up on to get ready for fall as far as soil and fertilizers. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.